idea for a short story.
I made a film named Ingalora, which is about my mother.
I was born in Germany, October 27, 1924. My aunt Cora told to my mother, I think Ingalora don't hear.
You know, the deaf rarely get to see themselves in movies. There are, you know, when you think about how many films there are that have deaf characters, they're just, you know, so black people are in movies, and old people are in movies, and Hispanic people are in movies. There are very, very few films about deaf people, and so to see their experience validated in a film is a really brand new experience for them.
Mom, I cannot talk.
There were a couple of rules I made for myself at the very beginning of this. One was that it would have to be visually dense because I wanted it to work for a deaf audience. I looked at a lot of deaf cinema before I did this, and it's primitive. It's particularly deaf documentaries are, you know, somebody sitting in a chair signing to the camera, cut to a still picture, back to somebody said, you know, so I wanted that to be a treat to the deaf community, and I wanted it to be an emotional experience. I wanted, if I could, to try and get you to feel it the way she felt it at the time.
It was neither the time of Christina. I was outside, go to the train station, and I saw the outside of the building, saw the cross of the business, of stores, many stores, saw the and I saw Planet the Temple, the tower. I saw it exploding. I thought, Principal, what is that? What is that? He did tell me.
So the Holocaust was a backdrop, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't the subject for, look what they did to me. I think the message evolved. I think that the message was, this is who she is. This woman who, no matter what was thrown at her, couldn't be crushed. Her spirit was bigger than, you know, it was bigger than the Nazis. It was bigger than an illegal abortion in 1940. It was bigger than anything that could be thrown at her. I was one of the people that ran Radical Media, which is the largest commercial production company in the world. When you make an expensive TV commercial, no matter how much you're paying people, they always complain. You know, when you're making something out of your heart, nobody complains. No matter how many hours you're at it, everybody just wants to do it. And that, I think, is the sort of lovely thing about the filmmaking community. No matter what it is that you do, you sort of, if you can contribute towards something being done that's worthwhile, people just tend to do it. The thing that was freeing about that part of it was to have been a professional for as long as I was, and to suddenly be a student filmmaker. And that was just, you know, so much fun. And to suddenly sort of find myself climbing fences to get into places that I wasn't supposed to be. When you're in charge of producing commercials, you are now producing the most wasteful form of films that there possibly could be. And so you know everything about how to waste it, and through that you learn everything that causes that waste. The lovely thing about filmmaking these kinds of films is that they get made out of passion, and everybody involved in it sort of knows that. The only actor we had was the woman who played my mother at the age of 16. The guy who is the tutor, the speech tutor, is a friend of mine who's a documentary filmmaker. The guy who's the American consulate is an attorney. Those two kids were beginning actors. And the doctor who performed the abortion is another friend who is an agent. And so I just made lists of people who I thought they should look like, and then I thought, well, why cast somebody that looks like this? I'm just going to cast him. If you study the recreations, you'll notice that everything I'm shooting is near a window, and so it's all available light. There's a chase scene through the streets of Berlin at night. We did it without any lights. We did it without any permission, actually. We just sort of did it. It was a crew of 3, and we ran, and we got stopped by the police 3 times, and the airport security people at the airport that we were shooting at, one of the scenes at, and we just talked our way out of it. My mother was with us in Berlin as we shot that chase scene, for example, and so she got to see my interpretation of her history. And my brother came with us, and so it was the 3 of us going through Germany at the site of her life. So I needed to get from the past to the present so that I could let you know that it all worked out fine. While I'm editing it, it occurred to me that both the Seder and the film are about freedoms. It's the real Seder plate. It's been mine for the last 20-something years. It's bent, it's pewter, it looks completely tortured. It's this mystery that if you had one suitcase, it was like they brought enough clothing for the 3 of them and the Seder plate. So the Seder became the platform for her being able to express the freedom that she discovered within herself, and that she's no longer plagued by the past, that she's happy, and that she's free. It was purely made to give to my kids so that they would have some record of who their grandmother was.
I'm not an angry animal. My life is changed.
Creating a new image or a new concept. It's a need I have. It's an obsession. Language of icons are very powerful, immediate, strong, and aggressive.